So lovely, good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. We apologize for bringing the news late. This is due to circumstances beyond our control. Top stories in the news tonight. The UPND alliance to sue ECZ over the cancellation of LUSAKA Central Parliamentary elections. The church fosters a peace pact between PF and UPND in Northwestern Province. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA put to rest as President Lungu remains shocked over her death. In international news, a man jumps from plane after trying to access cockpit.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Children in Lusaka's Chawama constituency have called on aspiring parliamentary candidates to take a keen interest in safeguarding their plight. Young people interviewed by Camnet News say they need recreation facilities as the area has no play parks to help them stay away from bad vices. And Media Network on Child Rights and Development Executive Director Henry Kawe has called on aspiring leaders to highlight how they intend to address issues affecting children. Patrick Soko has more in the following report.
When they filed in their nominations, we posed a simple question to the parliamentary hopefuls. What is your agenda for the people of Lusaka's Chawama constituency? The respondents included Patriotic Front Tasila Lungu, United Party for National Development Sport Fatembo, among others.
I'm coming here because I've got the ideas. I've spent all my time in Chawama constituency here, working and living around this particular area.
Our constituency is not short of leaders. Tiripo, Taimirira, and we are presenting the poor.
Biggest issue, our unemployment levels are high. So we'll work with the youth and the women to get them in cooperatives to make sure that they're empowered in a sustainable way.
I'm here to set a legacy and to make sure that on 12 August we rewrite the history of Chawama, which our children will read.
It is clear that the plight of children is far from their thoughts. Hence, this journalist took time to find out what are some of their needs. Beside education and other privileges, children have the right to enjoy their childhood. In Jonah Ward compound, which is in Ward 3 of the constituency, children lack recreation facilities. Others have passion for soccer, but they lack a conducive pitch for the game. The entire ward has no public ground or facility where children can play. They have the talent, but they improvise everything from the ball to the goalposts. It would be unwise to think they do not have a voice in this year's elections slated for August 12, 2021.
So ground toipa tumonga tima zinsa tumtengo topangira mapimu mago post so tufuna ko ba MP bagatandizireko tufuna ko ground na ground tiripo ground ya fufu na boat libe tima zinsa so tipemba gatetereko ground ya mufu ya majezi ya mapimu manje tiripo ground omenyera maboards ama menyera ground iti Zakila kwa na mabuti na majezi bonse tiri mzakatiletera ko liti.
This scenario is reflected in many low-income areas of Zambia. Hence, due to lack of recreation facilities, children end up engaging in illicit activities such as drugs and substance abuse, as well as playing bonanza and gambling, thereby undermining their potential. Child rights activists continue to remind politicians to be child-sensitive as they campaign.
They must explain in their manifestos what they are going to do for children in general, and specifically we are looking at issues of education. There's need for us to create more infrastructure by first of all doing a baseline about who is found where, how many people are in particular places for us to be able to meet the demand. Then investment in birth registration will be very, very important. Birth registration will make government know how many children are born in 2011, such that those children will be planned for. If 1 million children are born in 2011, we know that after 3 years they need to go to early childhood education centers. After 7 years they will need to start grade 1. So to be easier for government to plan.
Safeguarding the plight of children means creating a better and prosperous Zambia. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Residents of Mount Makuru Research Station living in dilapidated houses have pleaded with Zambia's Republican President Edgar Lungu to come to their rescue before their lives are lost. Speaking to Camnet News, Mount Makuru Community Housing Committee Chairperson Dixon Chivalumona says management at the Zambia Agricultural Institute, who have been tasked to deal with the matter, have become political in the handling of their affairs. Another resident, Joyce Banda, says the just-ended rainy season has left a lot of damage to the already dilapidated houses, of which, if not attended to, might lead to a disaster come this rainy season. Mrs. Banda maintains that it is difficult for the settled residents to maintain the dilapidated houses, knowing their investments might go to waste should they be removed from the house. We have details in the following report.
The status of most government houses in Chilanga's Mount Makuru Research Station leaves much to be desired, as they can be described a death trap to those living under them. The sitting tenants have in a long time been appealing to the government through the able leadership of President Edgar Lungu to come to their rescue by allowing them to buy the said houses so they can be renovated, but that no fruitful results have come out. This reporter had few months ago visited the area to assess the damage on the said houses, and the situation is beyond imagination for some families.
This structure which is here, you can see the hole which is there. Last time even when we came here, we didn't find any people when we wanted something. We found a dog. A dog went through that big hole. These houses are dilapidated. They were built between the period of 1948 to 1956 up to date. They are dilapidated, outdated, they are tired.
Here, there was a room for the boys. Here are the iron sheets. This structure here fell whilst kids were sleeping inside in here.
Having survived rain season in such a condition, these residents have once again appealed to President Edgar Lungu to urgently address the situation, saying management at the Zambian Agriculture Institute, who have been tasked to deal with the matter, have failed to live up to their duties, but that they have been politicizing the matter.
The people who are given the responsibility to handle this matter so that it can be put to rest, who is management for the Zambia Agricultural Research Institute, ZARI. The people at ZARI, I think they are no longer serving their duty of civil servants. I think they have now joined politics, because it seems they don't want to handle this matter in an official way. It's like they are going in a political way. We have seen, Your Excellency, that these people, the people at Mount Makuru, ZARI here, and the people at the ministry, including the PS, at the Ministry of Agriculture.
Others have wondered how rain season will look like if the situation remains the same.
Titandizeni wachagwa lungu tapapa tatana difuna tibule manyumba tiguliseni anyumba nionongeka matoilet onse mulibe mabafa onse ali mulibe ngatubafuna wakabwera wakazioneleka wazinge na door to door mumanyumba ndapanga titikamba muona munga uti ni boza kulika mtu wabwera waona zona pamene wakamba abantu alungu amene tibafuna wakabwere kuno wakaone mumanyumba pamene mukala abantu
kuti kosi banagulisa manje ise chamene chili muno mukakomboni ni chali wembekeza imfa ya nyumba ikagwe ikapaye family please tikalibe kulira wabwere banganepo batiyanganilepo ife bene wakitili na mpamvu olosi na pesa kangono ngapasi mzanga osauka weni nimendeleko kanyumba kanga.
The residents have explained that what has been keeping them from attending to the houses is simply because they do not belong to them and that no single person would like to invest their resources in a property that isn't theirs, hence the request that the dilapidated houses be sold to them.
You see, these houses are now being maintained by the people staying there. And I think to us as a committee, it's very unfair because previously the government used to maintain them. But now the government has no money, it has no adequate money to maintain these things. So the people who stay there are like the owners of those houses, but in reality they are not the owners. And this is why people are begging and are asking from the president, say, please, can you sell us these houses? Because if they do that, then the people even put more in terms of maintaining them because they will know that those are their own properties, unlike the way things are going now.
The residents are confident that President Lungu will indeed address this matter. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Workers at Angels Zambia Limited, a company that deals in wigs in the industrial area, staged a protest demanding improved conditions of service. The workers who spoke to Camnet TV News say their salaries have remained stagnant at 1,300 kwacha while the cost of living has been escalating. The workers are demanding the dismissal of the human resource manager for allegedly failing to address their plight. But when reached for a comment, company human resource manager Clara Mandila said the protest is illegal and that the leaders will be disciplined. We have more in the following report.
These are workers at Angels Zambia, a company that deals with wigs located along Mumbwa Road industrial area owned by Koreans. They are protesting against what they termed as poor conditions of service, among them poor salaries. Their take-home over the years has been prescribed at 1,300 kwacha against the basic needs basket compiled by the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflections, JCTR, which is now over 8,000 kwacha. The money they are getting is below the minimum wage, of which the lowest amount according to the revised figures should be at least 1,608 kwacha 16 way for the work they do.
Matikali kuli wantona sevenza ma 16 years, ma 17 years, ma 10 years, but pesegati. But bena vintu bevishtika mshemushi, but be progressing mayonaga. Reason why because pesegati ma salary ni ngono, salary ntitinga ni 150 mayona. Ile 150 mwene mudabati akwededemo bwanje dipiremo mwana ku school ile muzi wa manje masiku ya manje ni ovuta.
The workers complained that with the high cost of living, life has become very hard.
Expenses ni ambili vintu vinatola but drama zepa same level maiza so pesgati no progress in life mona tinga jet survive just for cost of living mona tivenangu pano tikengwa no bala drama sisi kwa na mona tiopa no bala banza tibala zesti bala mona matimo kwatira manja survive bwanzi
especially kuli wa president pamavuta netipitamu because also isete bakazi mwana tisevenza hard mu company yakuchoro mwamuna winangu sanga kwanise na kunyamula paneti nyamu.
For others, they do not want the new human resource manager because she has failed to represent their best interest.
Protection. Tizola mga teacher kabueda sankana protection but bana bueda zinjifinangala ways. Mashanje zetina project kapesikana ma problems. Esha sati milira ndiye wamena tipushinga kuja kutise batipisha nchitu.
Matitina sana permanent. Nanga permanent ni achani. bakucha kamba tinasena permanent because afan kutika konzeri mwanti working ila hard na beza afan kutika konzeri mu salaries no chuka shitako ka mistake kali konse you are fired kukamba factory kulube kukamba ukakamba you are fired mention company ya Bwanji.
We spoke to the company's human resource manager Clara Mwandira, who described their protest as illegal and that those spearheading it will be disciplined. She said the company revises salaries at the end of the year.
Even in our code of conduct, someone who is inciting their friends, because not all of them that are outside there really want to be outside, but there are those who are, just inciting them. Actually, they were just stopping them even from coming in. So we have to identify who the leaders are, then we deal with, the culprits. Of course, following the procedures that are laid down in our code of conduct.
So as management, can you say the workers have never approached you on the issues that they've played today?
They have spoken, like I've addressed them several times, then they have spoken out those same issues. And I've said, you need to give me a bit of time. I've just joined and what I've read in the current contract that are running is that salaries are reviewed. For example, salaries has been one of the main issues. So salaries are reviewed at the end of the year. So
by Monday next week, the workers will seek the intervention of the Ministry of Labour. Notably, Zambia is affiliated with the International Labour Organization ILO, and upholding workers' rights is one of its priority agenda. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
President Edgar Lungu says a dark cloud is hanging on Zambia as the country continues to lose great people in the shortest period of time. Speaking during the church service of the late Chief Justice IRENE Mambilima at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross, President Lungu says the debts that the country has continued recording is a heavy burden on him, the government and citizens. Meanwhile, President Lungu says he is still in shock with the death of Justice Mambilima, as it was the least expected. More in this report.
A quite emotional scene of the country's First Lady, Esther Lungu, who suddenly stopped and tears started rolling down her cheeks as she paid her last respect to the late Chief Justice IRENE Mambilima, who died on Sunday the 20th of June 2021. Saturday morning, the head of state joined mourners at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross to bid farewell to Justice Mambilima, who many described as an iron lady, a true pillar of justice. Speaking during the church service, President Lungu says he is still in shock with her death.
We have lost His Excellency Dr. Kenneth our family father of this great nation, Zambia. And before we come to terms with this huge loss, we lose yet another great Zambia, courage, and Chief Justice. The lady who was brought us simply has left all of us in shock. We are still shocked because that we have heard from previous speakers. But God, we know you are there, and you are there. And not abandon us. And not abandon our nation. We are a Christian nation. And we know you will answer our prayers. But God in the Holy Bible, Lord, I say, blessed be your name. Blessed be your name.
Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court President shared the experience of knowing the late for the past 20 years, stating that she was one person who was ever passionate about women's rights. And in his tribute, the spouse to the late Justice, Major Joseph Mambilima retired. This was his message, which was read on his behalf.
When I had relapses in my health, IRENE ensured that I received the best treatment and all financial obligations related to my health were honored. I must come to the end of my tribute to my dear departed wife. I was looking forward to her retirement, so that as empty nesters, we could spend more time together. But ours, not only has a death rocked the whole family, but death has also robbed me of a soulmate and a true friend.
She will be missed and remembered by many as a true gallant woman. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambia's major political parties, the United Party for National Development and the Patriotic Front Party in Northwestern Province, have joined other political parties and church mother bodies in signing a non-violence and peace charter as the country goes to the polls. Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ Secretary General Father Emmanuel Chikoya, has wondered why there is violence every time there are elections. And PF District Youth Chairman Edwin Mubanga says President Edgar Lungu has always emphasized the need to uphold peace in the country, but he is however concerned that supporters have been engaging themselves in violence. Details in the following report.
Friday, 25th June 2021, the Council of Churches in Zambia took the fight against political violence to Solwezi District, where they convened a Youth Against Political Violence meeting. During the meeting, political parties were made to sign a non-violence and peace charter that looks at clauses in ensuring peace and non-violence election under the umbrella of CCZ. Two of Zambia's biggest political parties, that is the Patriotic Front PF and the United Party for National Development UPND, were in attendance to sign the peace charter. And speaking at the event, CCZ Secretary General Father Emmanuel Chikoya has wondered why violence has continued in a Christian nation.
Elections are becoming very bloody. When there are no elections, we stay together, we live together. But what goes on the moment we have elections? The same neighbors. But suddenly we've become enemies. No, something is wrong. We are missing and losing our humanity. But let's not lose our sensitivity to care for one another. Refuse to be a youth for hire as a tool of violence. You will reap what you sow.
If we can be sending messages of peace on social media platforms, the exchange of messages of peace to one another, I think in that way we'll be heading to peace building and conflict transformation.
And Frederick Helbert Steve Tank's Social Impact and Social Justice Programs Manager Vincent Chipatuka says he is excited to associate himself with the activity because it stands for equity and social justice among others.
So the Frederick Ebert Stiftung is very excited to associate itself with this activity because we stand for solidarity, we stand for equality, we stand for social justice, we stand for unity, we stand for peace. And if we have violence, all the above will not be in existence.
And PF District Youth Chairman Godwin Mubanga and UPND Provincial Secretariat Office Administrator Joshua Mukai highlighted some of the measures put in place to avoid violence during campaigns.
We have made sure that we have attended all the seminars that have been called, so that we learn. I'm sure you have taught us, you have collected us. If we had the thoughts that we want to cause violence, but you have collected us and we're not going to do that. If we had any intention of killing each other, beating each other, we're not going to do that because we have learned about peace, unity, and election-free as we enter into an election.
One of the measures actually the PF is doing, and we have heard it from His Excellency, the President, is to make sure that we teach, we are taught, so we are taught about the gospel. Concerning politics is not the end of life. On 12 August, that's not the end of life. You know, other people will die because of the Salama pressures. There is life after 12 August.
With 46 days before the general elections, Zambians have time to reflect on what they want their next 5 years to look like. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The United Party for National Development, UPND alliance, has charged that the basis upon which the Electoral Commission of Zambia cancelled the Lusaka Central Constituency parliamentary election following the withdrawal of an independent candidate, Charity Lumpa, is unlawful. The alliance spokesperson Leslie Chikuse and Lusaka Central Constituency aspiring candidate Mulambo Haimbe have threatened to seek judicial review against ECZ on its decision. Miriam Kaimba has more in the following report.
The opposition UPND alliance has appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to reverse its decision of cancelling the Lusaka Central Constituency parliamentary election following the withdrawal of an independent candidate, Charity Lumpa. The opposition has since threatened to seek judicial review against the commission over its decision.
We want to state that the Electoral Commission of Zambia must be able to read or have a proper meaning of the constitutional provisions in this regard. Myself, I'm a layman. What I know in my simple language is that withdrawal is not the same as resignation. It doesn't matter who was your teacher in English. Simple language, withdrawal cannot be equal, is not the same as the resignation.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia announced the cancellation of elections and called for fresh nomination in Mandevu, Lusaka Central, Mpulungu parliamentary constituencies following the death and withdrawals of some candidates, citing Article 52(6) of the Republican Constitution, amended number 2 of 2016. But UPND Lusaka Central Constituency aspiring candidate Mulambo Haimbe, who is also a renowned lawyer, has since written to the commission demanding the reverse of the decision, which it claims is not supported by the law.
So-called decision by the ECZ, we reiterate, is unlawful and is not supported by the law. And the basis upon which we say that is because, to start with, the Constitution itself is very clear on what amounts to a resignation and so on and so forth. Certainly, an independent candidate deciding not to continue with an election does not amount to withdrawal as envisioned by the law, or it does not amount to resignation as envisioned by the law. More importantly, in Section 31 of the Electoral Process Act number 35 of 2016, the provisions relating sticking to their position. Now, this, of course, means that taking out legal proceedings is as a matter of last resort. The law must be defended and protected, and illegality must not be allowed to continue. Because if that is the case, then we are setting a precedence. We are legitimizing illegal actions by a commission that is supposed to be independent and impartial. So, today it will be Lusaka Central. Tomorrow it will be another constituency. And let alone it could be at a much higher level.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
New Congress Party President Peter Chanda has charged that the opposition UPND party is a tribal party which only speaks about tribalism and not the policies and plans it will do for the people of Zambia once voted into office. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Chanda states that Zambians must not condone such tribal remarks, but remain united as Zambia is a united country. We have more in this report.
New Congress Party President Peter Chanda has accused the United Party for National Development, UPND, of tribal practice, which many Zambians have continued to condemn.
They should never, at any point, give power to Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. I want to state that going by his attitude and just the way he conducts his politics, we can all attest to the fact that he's tribally inclined. And giving power to a person that has a tribal tag on his head, on his face, and on his back is suicidal. We need to also remember the fact that Samora Machel made a statement that for a nation to live, the tribe must die. In this regard, I want to ask the Zambian people to ask questions to this man. Why has he never attended any of our national events, even African Freedom Day? The motto of One Zambia, One Nation.
Mr. Chanda says the opposition party must say what they will do for the citizens of this country if they are to win the elections and not preach about tribalism, which only brings division in the country. He has urged Zambians not to forget who they are and their culture and must remain united always.
One Zambia, One Nation is always mentioned. I want to state that the Zambian people should never at any point try to give power to a person that has ascended to the throne of a political party on a tribal link. UPND under Anderson Mazoka was not a tribal political party. Anderson Mazoka managed to embrace the party. It has its presence in all parts of the country. If we can see the members of parliament that Mr. Anderson Mazoka got.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Drug Enforcement Commission has praised the founding father of the nation, the late former President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. Speaking to journalists after signing the Book of Condolences at the Kaunda residence in New Kasama this morning, DEC Director General Dr. Musonda Simwai stated that Dr. Kaunda laid a very strong foundation in the fight against financial, economic and transnational crimes. He further stated that the Commission was working with parents and communities in the fight against drug abuse, which was a world problem. Dr. Simwai also informed journalists that DEC was in the process of forming a mini rehabilitation center in Lusaka and was working on constructing a national rehabilitation center in due course.
No, today we were supposed to celebrate the World Anti-Drug Day, but we couldn't on account of the national mourning and also on account of the ravaging coronavirus situation in this country, and therefore we have pushed the celebrations to a date that will be announced at an appropriate time. However, within this mourning, within this current situation, our focus as a Drug Enforcement Commission is to see how we can work together with communities in fighting the drug problem, which is a world problem. And our specific focus, together with my team, was to engage parents. This problem is coming from our homes, from our communities. And if we put hands together with parents, we impart them with appropriate skills on how to identify this problem at an early stage, on how to manage it, and even when it reaches unmanageable levels, we are engaged to see how we sort it out. It is our view that once it is done in an effective
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
Welcome back. You're watching Camnet TV Main News. The Ministry of Health says the panic to receive the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine early places one at a disadvantage. Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Kennedy Malama says there is an unequivocal scientific evidence showing that if one receives the two doses less than 6 weeks apart, the efficacy is only around 54% as opposed to 82% if the interval is 12 weeks or more. Dr. Malama has since encouraged members of the public to follow the stipulated guidelines when receiving the vaccines. And the Permanent Secretary says 52 new COVID-19 deaths have been reported in Zambia in the last 24 hours. This brings the cumulative number of COVID-19 deaths in the country to 1,967. Dr. Malama adds that the country also recorded 2,816 new confirmed COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. And the Permanent Secretary has applauded health care workers for the continued commitment to duty in the wake of increased COVID-19 cases. Some families who were scheduled to hold weddings today have lamented the sudden cancellation of social gatherings that has convenienced them, saying the government could have allowed those who have permits to go ahead. On Friday, the government suspended the holding of weddings, Chilanga Mulilo and Matebeto events for 21 days in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The suspension also includes the nullification of all permits submitted at the local authority. Some people have been forced to postpone their events, while others have hailed the authorities for taking a firm stance to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. More in the following report.
The COVID-19 pandemic is hitting hard on Zambia, just like many other countries across the globe, with 22,199 active cases, of whom 20,829 are under community management and 1,270 are admitted at COVID-19 isolation facilities. Among those currently under admission, 885 are on oxygen therapy and 187 are in a critical condition. No one has control over what you feel, but the truth of the matter is that COVID-19 is real, and abiding by the health guidelines remains a big deal, even when you think it is against your will. However, it comes as a setback to the people who were scheduled to get married on Saturday, 26th June 2021. A check by Camnet TV News at the Lusaka Civic Center found some couples getting their marriage certificates under strict adherence to COVID-19 rules. I spoke to some families to get their experience over the immediate ban on the holding of social gatherings such as weddings, matebeto, kitchen parties, and conferences, among others.
It's a big day at Munga kuma families yonse yabinji. Ero vintu vose vinakozikira kudala. Manje obula video. Semezi wati pasa chabele elo isometeze balelo. Munga lero namvera tikutema kabuli yali. Tembatile katachita then kuli mamaski. Tivala mamaski. Bose mwena onera kuno bose na mamaski. So semezi wati le katachita. Just to celebrate bwino then pambia paka yena amini waimbekeza kuma next week. Ya mlonga kamba paka celebrate. Because apata ononga vakuti. Tinasta booking amunga isibena kuti na booking and pamaroad by na booking. So for the if my family is here to Yambili, they are coming from other provinces. So we wanted to celebrate our first-born child this wedding. Now kuboya shabe kutiuza atitachinja wao vinanguta ononga kudala. The booking, vakudia, madresses yotungisa. So many things have been wasted. So at least there's open person but pasa koche ya lelo. Then next week yo bamenango. Measures, as long as we follow the right measures.
Others were forced to change their wedding dates.
The budget was providing with 200 people. Now looking at the things, they are not okay. We thought we are going to have loss. So we decided to postpone until things get normal. That's when we can proceed with the function. So today we decided to come at least. They have a marriage person. After that, that's when we're going to have the function. COVID is real, as you know. So people, they are not complaining. We've just paused everything. After things get too long, that's when we're going to close it.
But for this man, he says the stance taken by the government is in the best interest of the nation and must be supported in order to combat the virus.
Steps the government has taken, they're just fine. Because life is important than functions. So we should take care for ourselves, and whenever the government put the measures, we should follow, because they are also important. Although some people they can be against, but we need to follow the measures what the government has taken, because this views is not only for Zambia, for all the countries which has been affected by coronavirus 2019.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
National Quality for Education in Zambia, NACEZ, has declared that no school in Zambia is safe for teachers and learners after witnessing a wave of deaths among teachers from both rural and urban schools who have succumbed to COVID-19. NACEZ Executive Director Aaron Chancellor says while he is fully aware of the colossal damage that the continued closure of schools has done and continues to do, he says that life is precious and must be protected at all costs. Mr. Chancellor says he does not support any cause that rural schools are safe and can reopen now, adding that doing so would be catastrophic and must never be entertained. He says the country currently has many rural teachers who are battling with the virus and that the situation has reached dangerous levels and must be treated as a crisis.
receiving a lot of reports about deaths of so many teachers in urban and rural schools. We are totally against any cause that some schools in rural areas should reopen. Our position is that rural areas are also connected and are also affected by this monstrous virus. And our call is for government and also other stakeholders to make sure that schools are made safer for teachers. At the moment, it would be very, very dangerous to push our teachers into schools. Most of our teachers are battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot more have died. Every day we are receiving reports, and therefore calls for the opening of certain schools are misplaced. We don't support that. And also want to thank His Excellency the President for timely closing schools, in as much as we know the colossal damage that this is going to do to our school calendar. We are alive to the fact that lives are precious. We need to protect our teachers and learners so that even tomorrow they could be there. So we would like to state that we don't actually entertain calls for the opening of schools now. Schools are not safe. They are dangerous places now for teachers and learners, and we have reached a crisis in terms of deaths among teachers.
Government has called on the United Kingdom Marine Trained Combined Forces Anti-Poaching Task Force to execute their assignment diligently. And Tourism and Arts Permanent Secretary Patrick Lungu has called on the 48 community scouts that graduated in the Kafue National Park yesterday to help in combating illegal wildlife exploitation around the country. Speaking at the pass-out parade for the second National Anti-Poaching Task Force training conducted by the British Army at Chunga Wildlife Community School in the Kafue National Park, Tourism and Arts Permanent Secretary Patrick Lungu said the trained team is hope for government's conservation efforts. And Acting Deputy British High Commissioner to Zambia, Gales Haisi, said his mission is happy that the second coded exercise for Zambia has trained an additional 50 national anti-poaching personnel in addition to the 120 trained last year. And African Parks Network Regional Director James Milanzi said various cooperating partners are willing to help government in conservation owing to several challenges facing the wildlife sector in Zambia.
The government, through the visionary leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Lungu, has embarked upon various initiatives to manage and protect our wildlife resource. These initiatives are meant to enhance the protection of the national parks and game management areas by bringing together the military and security forces to assist in combating the ever-growing and sophisticated menace of the syndicates across the country and the world.
To tackle international wildlife trade, we need to focus on poaching, trafficking, government structures and mechanisms to provide support. The presence of the Permanent Secretary and other wings of government is a testament to the Zambian government's dedication and resolve to counter the growing threat to its environment and wildlife.
The task ahead of us is quite tantamount. Otherwise, it's quite huge because poaching is quite high, encroachment is quite high, illegal harvest resources is also quite high. If we don't continuously recruit and empower these young men, we'll end up with nothing in the future. And what we're doing here now is to keep them trained, recruit, and ensure that they have capable resources so that they can protect the resource. Without this, we are all doomed.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. After the break, we'll be back with international and sports news. Stay tuned.
I was born in Wengwa in a grass-thatched house. I went to school barefoot and then to secondary school. University came, All of this on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia. Many people ask me questions. Why have you continued to seek public office? You've been arrested 15 times. This fight is not about Hakainde. It's about 18 million Zambians who want a better life. I'm standing for the presidency of this country because I know and I believe that this country is so rich and yet its people live in poverty. I am standing for that child to have an opportunity to go to school the way I did myself. It's time for change. Zambians have suffered enough. I'm Hakainde Hichilema. I invite you to take my hand. Together, we will build a better life for every Zambian.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Kumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date: 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges: 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time: 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time: 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
Welcome back. And in international news, a man has jumped from a moving plane at Los Angeles International Airport after attempting to access the jet's cockpit. The man, who was not identified, opened the plane's door and fled via the emergency slide on Friday, the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) said. He was detained on the taxiway and was taken to hospital with unspecified injuries. There has been a rise in incidents of flights in the U.S. About 3,000 incidents have been recorded this year. Friday's incident occurred at 1910 local time and aboard a United Express flight operated by SkyWest Airlines to Salt Lake City. Meanwhile, a wing of a 12-story beachfront apartment building in a town outside Miami collapsed early on Thursday, killing at least 4 people and trapping dozens of people beneath the pile of rubble and twisted metal.
One side of the building just fall, completely doesn't exist anymore. I had friends over there, I don't know about them, and and that's everything. I don't know about them, and I don't know if they are alive.
Part of the building that's obscured.
The search and rescue team worked throughout the night, and it was a very active scene from above and below. And we also brought heavy machinery onto the site to assist with the operation. And so we are very, very grateful that our president has now authorized FEMA support.
Again, search and rescue operations still continue. We have heavy machinery on scene to start pulling some of the superficial metal from above as we start looking for additional voids from above.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Chipolopolo coach MICHO ZAMBIA has described the 2020-2021 Zambia Super League, which comes to a close this weekend, as competitive and unpredictable. In his seasonal review of both the MTN Super League and the FAS Eden University National Division 1 League, MICHO said despite being played in the midst of COVID-19 and without supporters in stadia, the league proved its worth in the eyes of football lovers.
I can tell you that our league is one of top 5, the most competitive leagues, where one win puts you in contention to play in Africa. One loss is putting you to fight for the relegation. And exactly that unpredictability, trickiness of the competition, like our league is, happened during this season. A long season in abnormal condition under COVID, without presence of supporters. Thankful to sponsors, MTN, Supersport and others that have come across and practically put on the palm on hands chance for us to see our football. Other football you could support and look at, but Zambian Football League you need to love. And we that follow and love Zambian football, we are very happy with the season behind us. Very happy even for the season ahead of us, having in mind that FAS has decided that it will reduce the number of foreign players to 5 per team. That will simply give the chance to young Zambian players, and I believe that national team will benefit hugely from that aspect. Congratulating Zesco for winning the league, Zanaco for reaching going to the CAF Champions League qualification. Looking forward, who are the teams in CAF Confederation Cup, 3rd and 4th place.
That's putting our time brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, we'll take a look at the headlines once again. The UPND alliance to sue ECZ over the cancellation of Lusaka Central parliamentary elections. The church fosters a peace pact between PF and UPND in Northwestern Province. Chief Justice Irene MAMBILIMA put to rest as President Lungu remains shocked over her death. In international news, a man jumps from plane after trying to access cockpit. And in sports news, MICHO ZAMBIA describes the 2020-2021 Zambia Super League as competitive. The Camnet word verse of the day is coming from the book of Hebrews 12 verse 11. And it reads, "No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields the fruit of peace and righteousness to those who have been trained by it." My name is Jeffrey Ziambo, and thanks for watching Camnet TV News, not just another channel. Bye-bye.